Well, Ross, thanks for joining us. Again, a sense of deja vu with the manner in which the goals were conceded.
You've just given a politer version of my post-match debrief to the squad there, Dave, really. Angry and disappointed at the fact that we keep giving ourselves so much to do in games of football and coming off at the end again and we got so close, we could have taken our chance, we could have got back in. It's not good enough. We're not giving ourselves a chance. Is probably the best way for me to try to describe it.
There seemed to be a big contrast between the first half display and the second.
Yeah, there was. Yes, there was. Certainly, I think I felt in the first half that we were too acceptant to just drop back and get back behind the ball. We didn't get enough pressure on Colchester. We didn't try and force them into any sort of errors, and we knew where we felt that we could really get after them, and we didn't do that enough to give ourselves a platform and a chance to contribute anything to the game. We had a couple of little spells here and there and a couple of little moments that we looked good, but that's not enough. And I felt that we started the game in the wrong frame of mind. I felt we were a little bit negative. Obviously the goal comes pretty quickly, but adds to that. But we don't give ourselves enough of an opportunity to play our way into the game.
It is about fine margins, and Colchester's second, should it have been a throw? Should it have been a Leyton Orient throw?
I don't know how it works in terms of how careful I have to be, so I won't go into a great deal of detail, but I don't understand what a team of officials is supposed to do, because there's obviously myself, but a fourth official and a linesman, our assistant referee, looking down the line. The ball doesn't go out of play, in my opinion, but the guy puts his hand on it to keep it in play, which is what the fourth official told me, which is what the assistant. So I could hear him on the mic because he was close enough to me to say that it was handball, and the referee decided that he was closer. So therefore I don't quite understand what their roles are in the nicest possible way. And by the time we went down the tunnel to ask the questions, all of a sudden the fourth official hadn't quite seen it, and the assistant referee had a different opinion. So I suppose from that perspective is a very difficult thing to me to really go into.
Connor Wilkinson worked hard, he deserved his goal. It came under unusual circumstances.
Yeah, and that was something that we said, that we felt that if we were aggressive enough higher up the pitch, that we could get some pressure on them at the back and a pressure on their goalkeeper to force them into mistakes. And that's where I say that the start to the game wasn't good enough from our point of view, because we seemed to become too acceptant to drop Connor and Louis onto our midfield, and that wasn't the intention of the way that we went out there today. I think if you were going to go and do that, we potentially would have gone with a free recognised midfield players in there. I wanted Louis to be a more attack-minded player today and give him the opportunity to cause problems and get up and around Connor in order to press the opposition. And I don't think as a team and as a group we really imposed that on Colchester in the first half.
Liam Guller's impressed in his opening games for Leyton Orient. What's the news regarding his injury?
Really disappointing. I think anybody who was there on Tuesday night saw him pull up, so it's a hamstring problem, and I think we're going to be missing him for a few weeks now. Exactly how long, obviously our fingers are crossed that it's as small a margin as possible, but I know that it's going to be a few weeks before we see him anywhere near returning, because although when he came off and came in the next day he didn't look to be moving quite as badly as I expected, so I was hopeful, but it looks as if it's going to be a few weeks, Dave.
And Louis Dennis picked up a head injury. Is that a concern?
Not particularly. Well, it's obviously a concern because he cut his head, but at the same time, the concern for me was again another one of those moments in the game today where I felt we deserved I don't think it was in a box, but felt we deserved the free kick. It's interesting, really, when you look at the breakdown of the game. I think we worked out that Connor Wilkinson was fouled 7 times in the first hour of the game, but yet he picked up a booking for persistent fouling when the ref does his pointy finger thing and goes across the ground as if he's been fouling everybody for the whole game. But I think he only pointed 3 times, so that's only half the amount of times that Connor was fouled. So that one and obviously the foul on Louis, I think the shout at the time was the referee said there was no contact, but he's got blood coming out of his head, so it suggests otherwise.
James Brophy back in the side, is he fully fit?
James, I suppose it's one of those. He hasn't missed a lot of football. He's not missed a lot of time. He's trained enough this week to feel that we could get a period through the game. I suppose when a player like James is coming back, do you balance it out of, do we start him, do we bring him on? We felt that we could get a good period of time out of him, and obviously towards the end he tires a little bit, and we try to freshen it up with a change.
Again, great travelling support.
Dave, what I would say is a fantastic support, and even for us at the end there, I know we've had a right good go, and I hope that they can see that the lads are doing that. What I would say is please stick with us, and more importantly, stick with the boys. If people want to aim criticism at someone, I'm more than happy to take that, because and what I mean by that is that stick with these boys. You know, I'm here and I'm in an interim role and I'm doing the best that I can to help. The back-in today was fantastic. The numbers was outstanding. When we go to our next game at home, I really hope that people continue to show the boys that support, because no matter what my criticisms of us as a group will be after the game, they give it a right good go in the second half. We got it wrong in the first half of the game and we didn't execute what we'd asked and what we'd spoken about. We dusted ourselves down and come out in the second half, and I felt the boys really had a right good go at getting back in the game, and we were very close to doing that. So please stick with them. And I know that you did today. That's not me criticising anybody. The numbers were great, the support was great, but if we can continue to keep that along, that's going to be the best thing for this group.
Because you are so close. You came so close to beating the leaders Exeter last weekend. You came so close to picking up something in midweek against Crewe. So close again today.
Yeah, and that's my frustration, and I'm sure when there's a bit more of a rational conversation in the changing room that we'll discuss that is the case. But the real frustration is, we've stepped up a year level, we've got players that are inexperienced, we can use all of those things and talk about all of those things, but for all of us we have to get to grips with it at some stage, and dropping points in the manner that we have over the last couple of days before today is extremely frustrating. We tried to sort of look at what was the positives out of all of those things in order to give us a bounce back to try to come and get some points here today. We came very, very close, but what we've got to be so cautious of is the way that we start games and start halves and finish halves, is that there's such important periods in games that we can't keep giving ourselves such a difficult obstacle or hurdle to get back into games.